Leading Alpha is not without its challenges.
But have no fear, because over the years, we've collected some tips from the most experienced Alpha leaders from around the world, and we want to pass them on to you. Tip number 1, empower others.
Alpha is an amazing opportunity to get lots of people involved.
Sometimes our default is thinking that as the Alpha leader, we need to be the one to welcome people at the door, be the MC, be the cook, and be the small group host. But the best Alpha leaders recruit a great team and give other people the opportunity to help.
What we've found over the years is that helping on Alpha is a simple entry point for people who are new to leadership roles in the church.
Okay, our second tip is this: use the friend test.
This is a quick test to think about who would make a great small group host.
Before you make someone a small group host, think of one of your closest friends who's not a Christian, and imagine they're coming to Alpha. Who would you want to be their small group host?
Best case scenario, every one of your group hosts passes the friend test. Tip number 3, communicate with your team.
When the youth pastor at my church was helping a group of high school students run Alpha, he did an amazing job communicating with them.
Before every Alpha, he started to send them messages. He'd remind them of the values of Alpha. He'd send them any specifics they needed for the next session. He'd encourage them with stories, and then he'd thank them for their help.
He knew that it was his responsibility to make sure the team had the info they needed and that they were encouraged and inspired.
And his team knew that they could ask him for anything.
One of the best ways for you to keep good communication with your team is for everyone to gather together for a short meeting before guests arrive at Alpha.
Tip number 4, put the right tools in the right people's hands.
We've provided all kinds of tools to help make Alpha fly in your context. Tools like discussion guides for hosts and helpers.
Your volunteers might not know that all these resources are available, so make sure to get them and make them available for your team.
Okay, tip number 5, get your church on board. Alpha is most effective when a church community leads it together.
If you're the pastor of the church, share the vision widely and invite other people to be involved.
If you're not the pastor, set up a time to talk things through with your pastor. Share the vision and ask for help. But remember, pastors are often very busy, so take as much ownership over planning the details as you can.
Alpha's not meant to be a side experiment or just another church program. When done well, over time, Alpha can become a growth engine in the life of your church.
Okay, we've got 2 more tips.
I like the next 2 a lot.
The next 2 are the best 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we were ranking them in order of importance.
I'm just saying that to try to pull the people back in.
Right, they're so important.
For so long.
They're so important.
Okay, tip number 6, think like a guest.
When you start making decisions about your Alpha, put yourself in the mindset of a guest.
What's the whole thing gonna feel like from their perspective?
And what can you do to break down barriers that could prevent people from coming or from having a good experience once they're there?
The 7th and final tip is this: plan to pray.
Pray regularly with your team. Engage friends and family members. Send them updates along the way about how they can pray for you and all the people coming to your Alpha.
And ask the Holy Spirit to give you the creativity, the courage, the love, and the strength you need to lead Alpha well.
Why don't you take some time right now to write down some action steps in response to these tips?